Anakin Skywalker had the potential to be one of the most powerful Force users of all time. His status as the Chosen One meant that his midi-chlorian count dwarfed almost every other Force user in galactic history. Many claim that Anakin had the potential to become one of the most, if not the most powerful Sith of all time. Star Wars canon comics have even suggested that Anakin could have used Red Force lightning if he had not been encased in his suit, a power strongly associated with the sun, the literal embodiment of the dark side. While it is true that an uninjured Vader could have been very powerful, I will argue in this video that this likely would have not been the case, and that his suit actually made him far more formidable. However, there is no denying that the suit did have its shortcomings. As well as being slow and cumbersome, it was highly susceptible to Force lightning. But as we will explore in this video, these injuries and some of the apparent weaknesses only made Vader more powerful, maybe even more powerful than if he hadn't sustained injuries on Mustafar. And if you're enjoying my longer videos here on VF2, then make sure to subscribe and check out my history channel. I'll leave a link to that down in the description. The first reason why Vader's suit made him so good at killing Jedi was its overwhelming and terrifying appearance. Imbued with Sith alchemy, this suit was modelled off the ancient Sith of old, closely resembling two of the most powerful Sith of all time, King Adas and Tulak Hord. For a Sith, this was an incredible advantage to have against an opponent, particularly users of the light side. Jedi relied on their peace of mind and focus to draw upon the light, but the presence of an intimidating cybernetic warrior struck fear into his enemies, weakening their connection to the light side of the Force and allowing Vader to easily defeat them. This concept had been a cornerstone of Sith armor designs for millennia. Sith sought to literally embody the dark side through their appearance, strengthening their powers and weakening their opponents. However, this wasn't the only advantage that the ancient Sith-inspired suit granted him. The suit itself actually improved Vader's own fighting prowess. The restrictive nature of the suit held Vader back from more risky maneuvers, forcing a degree of restraint in the Dark Lord's fighting style. At first, this may seem like a disadvantage. Anakin had been highly proficient in lightsaber combat, destroying many thousands of droids and defeating many Jedi during Order 66. However, Anakin often used risky maneuvers and acrobatics to take on his opponents. While this was very effective most of the time, just one little mistake could lead to his downfall, as it did on Mustafar. If Anakin had continued down this brash and reckless path, he would have been seriously injured or killed at some point. The suit meant Vader could no longer perform these risky moves, restraining the reckless nature of Anakin Skywalker and making the Dark Lord a much more measured fighter, perfectly balancing offense with defense. To make up for the loss of risky but often effective acrobatic moves, Vader utilized his cybernetic strength to perform devastating power strikes against his opponents. This unnatural strength was unlike anything any Jedi had come across, only adding to the fear he conjured in his enemies and increasing the likelihood he would defeat them. However, the most important reasons as to why the suit made Vader stronger than Anakin was, rather counterintuitively, its weaknesses. Anakin always believed he was the best. He was a naturally gifted warrior and he did not need to train hard or work on further improving himself. His arrogance blinded him to such a degree that even Obi-Wan Kenobi, a less powerful Jedi, could beat him. Much like how he was forced to integrate new lightsaber styles into his fighting technique instead of using risky acrobatics, the suit forced Vader to entirely rethink how he trained and fought. Whereas Anakin took it as a given that he was the most powerful and gifted, Vader worked tirelessly to hone his skills and to make up for his weaknesses. The suit provided the Dark Lord with a reason to work hard, as if he didn't, he would be defeated as he had been by Obi-Wan. This newly focused and reformed frame of mind aided him in almost every conceivable way, from his force powers to lightsaber combat to his military leadership skills. The suit and the perpetual pain he was in was a constant reminder of his defeat on Mustafar, as well as all the awful things he had done in his past. This strengthened his connection to the dark side, and above all else, sharpened his focus. It was for these reasons that Vader refused to upgrade his suit. Even though an improved suit may have allowed him to jump higher, move quicker, and alleviate his pain, it would have taken away one of his primary means of motivation, thus leaving him vulnerable to defeat. If Vader had never been beaten on Mustafar, while he had the potential to become more powerful than a Vader encased in his suit, it seems doubtful that he actually would have been able to achieve this power. Anakin simply did not have the discipline that Vader had, and his blinding arrogance made him an easy target to exploit by more focused Jedi. Many point towards Vader's loss of limbs as a major reason why Vader never became the demigod many, including Palpatine, expected him to be. However, I disagree with this interpretation. While Vader was likely disadvantaged at first, as having limbs was what he was used to, this likely did not affect him in the long run. Many of the most powerful Sith did not even require bodies, with Darth Nihilus and to some extent Vitiate being notable examples. Palpatine certainly agreed with my belief that his injuries made him stronger. He stated that Vader's injuries freed him from the need of physical flesh, forcing him to focus upon his connection to the Force and giving him unparalleled power. In fact, Palpatine believed that it was his mental injuries that held him back and prevented him from meeting his true potential. His connection to Padme, his past life as a Jedi, and the glimmer of light within him were what truly prevented him from tapping into the true power of the dark side. Nevertheless, the suit gave Vader his purpose as a Sith, both through the fear it instilled in his enemies and through the physical pain it caused him. Without his suit, it is unlikely the Dark Lord would have ever become as infamous and skilled as he did. However, as we've already briefly mentioned, Vader's suit did have some weaknesses, most notably its vulnerability to Force lightning. To find out why Vader could not use this ability while other notable Sith cyborgs like Darth Malgus could, then check out this video.